Welcome back to Race Report, everyone. This weekend we saw the US Grand Prix in Austin go down. How did it go down though? Let's dive straight in, shall we? First off, I'll say a big condolences to the Red Bull team. This weekend it was announced that the Red Bull co-owner, Dietrich Mateschitz, passed away. Very sad news, obviously, for the Red Bull team and the paddock in general. As a result, Red Bull's penalty for breaking the cost cap was pushed back. The news of what their penalty would be pushed back. Obviously, they're not in a right state of mind to be going over all the legals and stuff like that of that, immediately after this race. Diving into quali then, it was another round where we got a lot of penalties applied for part usage. So the qualifying finishing positions don't necessarily match the race start position. Do hate these. I complain about it every single time because what's qualifying for if we're just going to use the penalties to mess up the grid anyway? But whatever, here we are. Who went out in Q1? It was, of course, Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, Daniel Ricciardo, and Kevin Magnussen this time. Out in Q2, we had Tsunoda, Zhou, Gasly, Vettel, and Albon. Good to see Albon getting into Q2, nearly into Q3. That would have been quite entertaining. But what was entertaining was Q3 itself, because we had more than just the two regulars in the mix for pole. Hamilton was up there, Sainz was up there, Perez was alright as well. In the end, it was Carlos Sainz who took the win and took the pole. Excellent lap from him. Leclerc qualified P2, although he had his engine penalties down the back of the grid. Then we had Verstappen ending in P3. When it came to the race, Verstappen actually started alongside Carlos Sainz, and Verstappen got away better off the line. He took the lead into turn 1. But then at that turn 1, we saw George Russell spear into the side of Carlos Sainz, spun him around, and that was it for Carlos Sainz. That was the end of his race. He trundled back to the garage, and George Russell got a 5-second penalty for his troubles. At this point in the race, after all that chaos at the start there, we actually had Lance Stroll running in 3rd position. And we had Sebastian Vettel running in 6th. Where have these Aston Martins been all season? It's fantastic to see. However, it did not last long. Of course it didn't. Both Astons did slide back down the grid over time. Russell getting past, Perez getting past, Leclerc getting past. They're all making their way through up to the positions that they should actually be in. Everyone makes their first round of pit stops with very little changes. We didn't see too much action, except we didn't see Leclerc or Vettel pit. They appeared to be going quite long, and that definitely played into their hands because on lap 18 we had a safety car for Valtteri Bottas. He had a spin, got himself stuck in a gravel trap and could not get going again. So Leclerc and Vettel used this safety car for a cheap pit stop, and Leclerc put himself right back in the mix. 4th place he's in now, and there's something on for him. We had another safety car a few laps later on lap 22 as Stroll and Alonso come together in a very scary instant where Alonso's car was actually pointing up in the air on 2 wheels before coming down and going into the barriers. Oh man, it was terrible. Stroll's fault, definitely. He moved over when he should not have moved over. It was too late. But I have no idea how Alonso did this, but he managed to keep himself and his car going. No idea how he managed to do that. Stroll, however, was out of the race. Leclerc and Perez have a really good battle for 3rd place once we're racing again. It lasted over a couple laps and Leclerc finally got him on lap 30. That was a good fight. The interesting battle on track then became Perez and Russell for 4th place. Russell was chasing down Perez, and it was a good fight for a few laps there. On lap 35, we saw Hamilton pit from P2 for fresh, hard tyres. Dropped down to 6th, but he's trying the undercut on Verstappen. Verstappen and Red Bull obviously see this, pit the very next lap to cover it off, but he has a very slow stop, 11 seconds, monumental amount of time in F1. He does have the medium tyres on, but man, 11 seconds, it means he comes out behind both Hamilton and Leclerc, who both have fresh tyres. Leclerc actually came into the pits at the same time as Verstappen and got out quicker, despite that gap being there. 11 seconds, just far too long. So now out in front we have Perez in P1, Russell in P2. They're still having a great battle, that's fantastic. And Vettel in P3. The Aston Martins are doing amazing. Russell pits on lap 37, drops down to 7th place behind Magnussen. Perez pits on lap 39 from the lead, which means we have Sebastian Vettel leading the US Grand Prix. Oh, makes your heart warm, doesn't it? Verstappen and Leclerc have a great battle for 3rd place. They exchange back and forth for a little bit, but then Verstappen finally gets him on lap 39 and solidifies that place for himself. On lap 41, we saw Hamilton take the lead from Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton is leading. Oh, it could be on for a win here. Very, very interesting. Vettel then pits on lap 42. He gets out of the way of Verstappen and Leclerc behind him, but he has a very slow stop as well. 16 seconds. This drops him out of the points. Gutting. He was leading the race at one stage. At least on for a good haul of points, right? Drops out of the points. Oh, such a shame. Such a shame. Like I said, this releases Verstappen and Leclerc into 2nd and 3rd positions behind Hamilton. And we had a setup for an exciting ending with the top 4 separated by 7 seconds with 10 laps to go. Verstappen and Hamilton have a good battle for the lead. Of course they do. These rivals from last season are not going to take it easy on each other, are they? Verstappen does take the lead on his medium tyres on lap 50. 6 laps to go. Such a shame for Hamilton. It looked like it could have happened, but it really wasn't on. And that's really the last action we see out on track. For the leaders, Verstappen wins the Grand Prix in Austin, and that means Red Bull win the Constructors' Championship. They've done the double, they've got the Drivers' Championship with Max Verstappen. They've now got the Constructors' Championship as well. There was obviously a lot of emotion that came with that, dedicating it to Dietrich Mateschitz. And just congratulations to Red Bull. They've been very, very dominant this season. Behind them, we saw Hamilton finish in 2nd place and Leclerc finish in 3rd. There was a great final lap fight between Vettel and Kevin Magnussen. It's just a great fight between those two guys. And you could see that Vettel really wanted it. He really, really wanted it. And he did get it. He recovered to 8th place. Obviously not the position he wanted. Not the position maybe he should have finished in, but it meant a lot to him. He got 8th place and he got some points. He got driver of the day as well because he was doing so well. And there's also a special mention that I should give Fernando Alonso as well. Of course, earlier in the race, he was pointing up at the sky and he was coming down and then hitting the barriers. He managed to finish the race in 7th place and pick up some points. Don't know what it was about the race today, but the old boys were doing it. Hamilton finishing 2nd. Vettel recovering to 8th after leading the race. Alonso putting in a superb effort of, crashing out, should have been retired, didn't, got 7th place. So they were putting in the work today. So congratulations to them. Overall, I thought it was a decent race. Massive congratulations to Red Bull, obviously. Plenty of talking points out of this one. But what do you guys think? Where does this race go down for you? Let me know in the comments. Let me know over on social media at Race Report Pod, and I'll see you in the next one.